Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Walking Between Shadows. We're your host. I'm Ben,
I'm Taryn.
and we're going to do some updating today on a couple of cases, maybe.
Yeah.
But we want to dive right in and start talking about Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra in San Antonio.
Yes.
Since we did that on New Year's, it was New Year's Day.
Yeah, we recorded and published on New Year's Day.
Yeah, so the first episode we put out about Savanah and Matthew, go back and take a look at that. But since then, there have been a couple of arrests in the case.
Yes.
So it's moving quick.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And who'd they arrest?
So they arrested a father and a son by the names of Ramon, who was the father, age 53, and his son Christopher, age 19, Preciado.
And they lived in the same area, didn't they? I mean,
Very, very close.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ramon and Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have charged Christopher with capital murder.
Yes.
And we're not 100% sure that it's 3 counts. We know that it's 2.
We know right now, too, now they have not decided yet if they are going to charge for baby Fabian, who was due
that day. Yeah.
That day. He was supposed to be induced. Well, he was supposed to be induced on the 23rd. She was to be induced on the 23rd. Savanah was.
Yeah.
And so he was, he was definitely viable.
Yeah.
Absolutely all the way viable, full term.
Well, the point is he was due within a day or two of when all this went down.
Right. And in Texas, don't they usually, I mean, they go hard.
Yeah, Texas is not a state to mess around with when it comes to capital murder.
Right. If you see the shark going past me, back and forth over here with the dog.
Oh, yeah, Garcia.
It's just like a shark. You can see his tail going back and forth.
He's circling the table, making sure everything's...
Right.
Hey, man, y'all need to get me some tea.
Yeah.
That's how our dog Garcia talks.
Sure.
And yes, his name is Jerry Garcia. And he acts like Jerry Garcia.
So, yeah, let's get back to it.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
So we put that on the bodies were found on the 26th. So Savanah and Matthew were both found in their vehicle in a apartment complex parking lot 3 miles from their home and 3 miles from Ramon and Christopher's home as well.
Mm-hmm.
Savannah's phone was found in the car. Matthew's phone was not in the car.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, that's how they were able to find Christopher and Ramon,
mm-hmm.
and able to form somewhat of a timeline. So we saw the affidavit, and the affidavit makes us very much question what the hell's going on.
Right.
As far as timeline.
It's almost like it's near impossible
to
have gone down the way they say it went down.
Sure. So we've learned since last week that Savanah and Matthew were both murdered on the 21st.
Yeah.
Around 11:50 p.m., so right before midnight on the 21st.
Yeah. So we established that how? How did we establish that 11:50 was the opening of the timeline?
Well, that's when Savanah and Matthew were putting in their phone, or in Savannah's phone, the GPS to get to Christopher and Ramon's home.
Yeah, and the police released this information.
Yes.
They had found Savannah's phone in the car and did the forensic study of it, and within a few days came back and said they were putting GPS location or coordinates into Ramon and Christopher's house.
Right.
Yeah.
So they pull up in the driveway, let's say at 11:50. That's what the affidavit says.
Yep.
And immediately that would have meant that Christopher has a gun ready. But this is what Christopher said.
Go ahead and establish the end of the timeline so people know what kind of time we're dealing with here.
So they arrive at 11:50. Both of them were killed and set different in the vehicle than what they were in originally. And that vehicle was taken 3 miles away from Christopher and Ramon's house into that apartment complex parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Ramon just happened to be there too. So that would have meant that Christopher would have had to shoot Matthew and Savanah, move Matthew's body into the back seat of the car, get into the driver's seat of the car, somewhere in there tell his dad, I need you to meet me at this apartment complex, bring some towels, and let's And that was all done by 11:59. So we're looking at 9 minutes that they had to drive 3 miles
Mhm.
in San Antonio around Christmas.
Mhm.
That's
But it was
just
a residential area, so they weren't dealing with interstates or bypasses or
okay.
anything like
Okay.
that. So it was all within a residential
Right.
area.
And so they would have had all done that within 9 minutes, though. So they would have had to pull up both Savanah and Matthew. Now, according to Christopher, his first statement is that they pull up. Matthew has a gun. Drug deal gone bad.
Mhm.
Matthew pulls a gun on 19-year-old Christopher. Christopher tries to get the gun from Matthew. It fires off and shoots Savanah execution style right behind the right ear.
Mhm.
And then he has to. So he's fighting to get this gun. He gets the gun.
Well, wait. We've established that he's fighting to get the gun from Matthew,
Right.
right?
Okay, my bad.
No, you're right. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. I just want to put a point in here. Matthew was sitting in the driver's seat of the car when this all ensued.
Right.
And she got shot behind the right ear, which would have been next to the window of her door, opposite of the side of the car that Matthew was on. So the gun went off, and the bullet traveled around her, made a U-turn, and hit her in the back of the right ear, hit behind the right ear.
Close range. Very, very.
Close range.
We're talking about like this.
Yeah. Now, one thing we don't know is they haven't released any photos of the inside of the car. They haven't talked at length about blood spatter or anything like that. But I do know from pictures and video, there was not a window broken out in that car.
No.
And this bullet was traveling at the distance that would have been around the glass.
Well, Matthew would have had to either been out of the vehicle with this gun, and Christopher would come up. So Matthew would have had to come around to the passenger side.
Right.
Because he got her on the right side. Okay, so he would have had to come around to the passenger side to meet him with these drugs. Let's just say he's got his gun. He would have had to had the gun pull. Here's what I don't understand. It makes zero sense. Matthew's not going to pull up at somebody's house just to get in a fight.
No.
Just, hey, I don't know you that well. I'm going to pull a gun on you.
Yeah.
Over some drugs that I want to sell to you.
Right. So go back to where you were. You were establishing that Christopher had reported they'd gotten into an altercation and he'd gotten the gun away from Matthew. And in that activity, it had accidentally gone off and shot Savanah. And we've established that Savanah could possibly have just been opposite of him. And there's no way.
Right.
So go ahead. Finish.
So then he shoots Matthew. Then drags Matthew.
Where did he shoot Matthew?
Same. Right behind the right ear, directly execution style. So it would have been in the same
area.
They were both hit. So
now, see, that makes sense. Now, if he'd have shot, if Matthew was sitting in the driver's seat and he shot him behind the right ear, it makes sense that he could reach around a seat or from the opposite side of the back, point towards him and shoot him like that. But with that being said, why is the glass still intact on that side of the car? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So either Matthew was outside of the vehicle and was shot close range, execution style, and he was drugged then to the back of his vehicle and put in the back seat of his car. Savanah is in the passenger seat. Now, at that point, I don't know if he had to take the baby carrier out and put it in Savannah's lap because he needed to lay Matthew down, but it did make... Whatever the dragging did, that's what caused Matthew's pants to be down. There was, what we know right now, there was no other damage caused to Matthew's body. No mutilation as far as we know. Except for the gunshot.
Yeah.
So he's brought around, and put in the back seat. Carrier's put in Savannah's lap. Then Christopher gets into the driver's seat and drives immediately to those apartment complex where he leaves the car with his father meeting him. And they pull up right beside each other. You know what I mean? Like in the video.
It wasn't hasty either.
No.
It was slow.
So think about it. If Ramon knew nothing about this, he's just kicking it at home before watching National Christmas Lampoon's Vacation. He's ready for the holidays. And here comes, he gets a phone call.
Right.
If there was even a phone call made.
Right.
Dad, I need you. I need you right now at these apartments. Wait. I need you in 2 minutes at these apartments
And bring some towels.
and bring some towels.
Yeah.
And so we see the video, and they're at this, they're definitely Christopher's driving the vehicle as far as we know.
That's what it looks like.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They got the video. And here comes Ramon.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Papa. And they pull up just like this, driver's side to driver's side. And Christopher steps out of the vehicle. Ramon steps. Somebody throws him a towel from the passenger side, throws Ramon a towel, and he wipes off some of the inside of the driver's door, which maybe that was Matthew's blood.
Mm-hmm. But the glass was still intact.
Maybe it didn't. Maybe the bullet lodged in his head. I don't, maybe the bullet lodged in his head.
Perfectly possible, yes.
So, especially at close range. I don't know if it just exploded. I don't know what happened.
Well, that's the other thing the police aren't telling is, and we've heard some forensics experts that have looked at this and talking about the contact. Guns behave differently when it's at close range versus, a distance,
Mm-hmm.
or if the barrel's placed against the skin.
Mm-hmm.
They are able to tell all of that kind of stuff. And they haven't even said what caliber gun is, I don't think.
I'm not sure.
They've just said that they found the gun in Christopher and Ramon's house.
Right.
And that they have it.
Right. And that there has been a third person questioned.
Yes.
And that's more than likely the woman in the video. Or the woman, the person.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say woman, the person. It's speculated that it is Ramon's partner, girlfriend, whatever.
Significant
other, and that she was possibly riding along with Ramon. So they acted quick.
Right, because they've made it clear the woman that lives in that house with them is not Christopher's mother.
Right, and she's been questioned, and I don't know what's happened from there.
Well, we don't know that she's been questioned. We just know that the police department came out and said, we've questioned other people, and then when asked, was it the woman in the house? He said, I'm not going to say.
So that means, yeah.
Good Lord. Just watch. You'll see it. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, it all comes down to this affidavit and this 9-minute timeline that doesn't make any sense that all this happens.
Mm-mm.
And the demeanor by which they're seen in the video approaching each other.
Not hasty.
If my son or daughter called me and said, I need you, I've killed somebody, I'm not going to check up and say, do you need towels and a change of clothes? Or I'm going to jump in the damn truck and be gone.
Right.
And I'm going to come sliding in that parking lot sideways. By the way, why tell that? Why tell that where you are and all that kind of stuff? And then pull up just so nonchalant.
Right. Like, what do you need, man?
Yeah, here you go.
That looked like a drug deal.
Mm-hmm.
That looked more like a drug deal than,
than what probably went down with Matthew and them, yeah.
Right. Than concealing.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. I think Matthew and Savanah pulled up at 11:50, like they say. Let's just say they did.
Yeah.
And I believe that Ramon and Christopher were waiting with this plan to rob them.
Yeah.
And immediately, Matthew he didn't have a gun.
Yeah. So real quick, you hit on something. Let's go over those theories that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And you just brought up a good one.
Mm-hmm.
This kid, Matthew, and Savanah had been posting videos and pictures of stacks of cash, of spreading out cash, and knowing that they're getting drugs and advertising, we're getting drugs. So is it possible that, maybe Ramon's business wasn't going so well and needed some cash? It was Christmas. I need to get my boy that G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip,
Yeah.
Was this a master plan that they had robbed them?
They wanted to have a green Christmas.
Yeah.
And they just decided, hey, we don't have what we need, but we want to smoke weed.
Yeah.
We want to be smoking weed.
Yeah.
And I bet he's got a stack of cash. You saw those pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, he put a post up hours before he passed away, before he was murdered by them, saying, I got everybody's faves, that sticky in.
Yeah, and we got to time it where he's got all the cash.
Right.
We got to time it where he's got all the cash.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, we're going to get all the drugs.
Either that. See, that's the thing. He didn't have it yet.
That's right. But he had the cash.
But he had the cash.
Uh-huh. So another theory that you and I have talked about, adding to that, is this timeline is wrong in that maybe Christopher was in their neighborhood and had set this up where he would say, "Hey, man, I'm going to buy some drugs, but I need you to run me to my house so I can get some cash," or
Sure.
something like
Sure.
that. And that's when we see that GPS being entered, right?
Mm-hmm.
By Savanah or Matthew, either
Right.
one. But they had, I'm telling you, this kid was already with them. And they took him to that house, and this kid and his dad had already set this up. And they were killed the second they got there and left.
But what's weird about that is they're not going to have to put the directions to his own house in their GPS. Like.
Now, who knows the kid didn't get in the car and just say, "Hey, I live at 242 Pine Avenue."
True. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And they say, "Okay, yeah, no problem. We got,
So they pull up,
timeouts."
and as soon as they pull up,
Yep.
I mean,
It's just a theory. It's just
absolutely, absolutely, and there's lots of them. There's lots of them. It really does look like that this had to be done.
It
Planned.
looks planned,
This
yeah.
looks so planned, and I don't know. I mean, there's rumors going around that Ramon was his supplier, was Matthew's supplier.
Yeah.
That there's that rumor. Which, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
There's also rumors that Christopher really didn't know them that well. That this could have been their first interaction with one another, or one of the firsts.
Yeah.
But we don't know that either.
They were too comfortable dealing with their dead bodies. I think they knew them.
And the way they left, Savanah and Matthew, the way they left their apartment, so they would have left on the 21st with the candle still, lit. I mean, that candle stayed lit for 2 days or a day and a half. Because on the 23rd, when Matthew's dad kicked the door in, the candle
was still burning.
Or when Matthew's dad went in the house, I don't even know if the apartment was lit or locked, but they must have left there saying, we're only going to go 3 miles from here. Right. Drop off a little bit of weed and,
or maybe we're going 3 miles to pick up a little bit of weed.
Either or. It could have been that favorite stuff they were supposed to be getting in.
Right. I think you've hit on another one. It's very possible that
that Telegram post.
Yeah.
Telegram post on the 21st that said, "I'll have everybody's faves in tomorrow." How do we know that Christopher didn't tell him? I got it. I got you. I got it.
It's ready.
Yeah, it's ready.
Yeah. Very possible.
Yeah.
So Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra arrest in the case. Ramon and Christopher, father, son.
Preciado.
Ramon is in his 50s and Christopher was 19.
Yeah, Ramon, 53 years old, had a heating and cooling, business.
A front? Oh, no, a business. Yeah, okay.
Right. That was discovered. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of speculation, and time will tell with this case.
Yep.
For sure.
So keep in tune. Stay tuned. We're going to definitely keep on top of this and report as we figure stuff out and hear stuff. Want to give a couple of shout outs before we finish up here. So first of all, we want to give a shout out to want to give a shout out to Elevate Dispensary in Belton, Missouri.
Yeah.
Elevate sponsors us, and we enjoy doing business with them. Good group of people, very knowledgeable. If you're ever in Missouri, look up Elevate Dispensary. They've got stores all over the place, but we use the one in Belton, Missouri the most.
Yes.
Very friendly and knowledgeable staff, and we hope to have some of them on a podcast here pretty soon.
Yeah.
They said they would do that with us and wanted to.
They have no idea what we're about to ask them.
We're going to make it.
Make it uncomfortable anyway.
Yeah. So the other shout out that I want to give is to Cinema Shogun. You guys need to look this guy up. He also has a podcast on YouTube, and he's pretty straightforward. We've enjoyed watching him and hearing him. And he has a couple of channels where he does several different things. But yeah, shout out to Cinema Shogun, man. We appreciate what you're doing too.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say thank you to our audience. So I want to say to everybody, if you want to help us out, hit that like and subscribe button and smash that notifications bell so you can see when we release new content. We definitely appreciate it and look forward to it again. We'll see you again soon. Again, we're your host. I'm Ben.
I'm Taryn.
And y'all have a good one. We'll see you soon.
Bye.